All right, everybody, it's the Guns and Radio Podcast double feature episode. I'm sitting here with, what do I call you, man? I just thought of that.
Well, my name's Chuck, but my name's Chuck Ross.
I didn't know if you wanted me to call you Chuck or Axel Ross. Or...
I go by Axel Ross in the band.
Okay, so we'll say Axel Ross for the sake of this interview. But you've got other things too, so I mean, we'll talk about all of that here in a minute. This man that I'm sitting with today, our guest today, for the opening portion of our show here, he's the lead singer for our local Jeff City Guns N' Roses tribute band, and they're called Guns Ain't Roses. They're going to be playing in, is it Fulton? We're playing out here in Fulton, right?
Fulton, Missouri.
This Saturday. So you guys have literally 6 days to get tickets. So get online, get those tickets.
Yeah, brownpapertickets.com is where you buy them. And we're going to be playing at the Brick District Playhouse in Fulton. And it hasn't even opened yet. So They haven't had their grand opening. They've been doing kind of, just soft shows for a while. And this is going to be the first kind of big thing they've had up there. But it's a 100-year-old theater that they've just renovated. And the balcony will be open for the first time in our show. So it's kind of cool, like a mini Fox Theater type venue. It's going to be fun.
Sounds pretty awesome, man, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be there. I know that much. I've seen you guys play at Spectators in Jeff City. I saw you guys play at the Blue Note. And both times, really good shows. You guys, this is what, your fourth or fifth show, or
me and Mike, who plays Slash. It's going to be the fourth time we've done it, and it started out as we were doing a benefit show in Columbia, and we just decided to do a Guns N' Roses set. So we all dressed up in costumes and it went over really well, and me and Mike got to talking about it, and we kind of started hashing out actually putting together a Guns N' Roses tribute. He already has a AC/DC tribute called JCDC, and there's a lot of tribute bands around here, but there was no Guns N' Roses ones.
Oh, I know.
So, you look far and few and in between, you're going to find them. And they travel and work, and we decided, we're all in local bands out here, multiple bands, and we all just kind of decided to join forces and make this happen. And it's happening now. It's pretty cool. It's been really a lot of fun.
I was really happy when, the first time I saw you guys, I swear your band is cursed for me trying to see them, because the first time was the Kiss show with JCDC, and then there was the big snowstorm. Then they were going to play Spectators, and then the building caved in, and they blocked off the street and closed everything. And so finally, when it finally happened, it was really cool. It felt like we'd finally like as a person that was trying to buy tickets to see this band, it felt like we'd accomplished something.
yeah, it kept getting pushed off, and finally made it happen. And we just, we work on it. We tried to get the type of musicians that can work at home, since we're so busy. So we don't really rehearse a lot except for right before shows. Guns N' Roses is a very simple sensation. They had. Everything they did was great, and they only did like 3 albums. The first 3 albums that were, I guess they weren't the first 3, but it was like Appetite for Destruction, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, and even some of the stuff on Lies was all stuff mostly that they had written while they were doing Appetite for Destruction. So it was all kind of from the same vein and the same era. So a sophomore album that came out wasn't necessarily them, finally getting to the studio and coming into their own as musicians. It was like, okay, we start picking all this. And the biggest hits off of those albums were that. So it was like, we already know them because they're so huge. And you listen to them and you remember them. And the guys in the band that don't know the songs intricately, it's, those huge dingers, an hour and a half worth of music. It's not hard to compartmentalize and keep it, to where you just know how to play it. Music to me is like alcohol, and you got your party alcohol, you got your hard alcohol. I think heavy metal, Pantera is going to be the whiskey. you know, and then country music's gonna be your beer. And then dance club music's gonna be your foo-foo drinks, you know. And when you go to a bar, you don't try a bunch of different kinds of drinks.
So is Guns N' Roses the cocaine then?
You know, what is Guns N' Roses? You know, they are definitely a spirit. They're something they're not a liqueur at all. They get you wasted quick.
Like Night Train.
I'm telling you, cheap wine, right? $2 Chuck.
There you go, man. That should be the name of your solo album, right there.
They're right. There you go. We do about a 3-hour show with the JCDC band, and this time around, though, we're going to try to do a little more. So we're adding some more in there, but usually it's a 3-show bill. So
the show this weekend is going to be really great.
It's going to be fun. We're putting a lot of work into it. I'm excited about this theater because we got the keys to the place, basically.
Nice.
But it's local. I live here in Fulton. It's a small town. It's only about 12,000 people. And they're kind of ramping up that historic district, so they've been remodeling the whole town. They've taken out a lot of phone poles and put up some cool gaslight type things, and it's a cool place now. And now that they open this theater, it's time for some music in town, because nobody paid their ASCAP fees in town. There's no music in town. We got one honky tonk that's open on Saturday nights, and it's a BYOB kind of country place, and it'll be nice to get some real rock and roll in a large venue in this town and see what we can do with it.
Oh yeah, what are they projecting that the turnout's going to be like?
Well, you know, you hope for a sellout. They got about a 200 or 250 seat capacity there, which I think the Blue Note is 500, you know. So, I mean, this place is comparable to it. But I don't know. I'm hoping we really get, you know, 100 people in at least, or maybe some more. Well, it's been more. I spoke with the gentleman today about it, and we've had more buzz on this show and more tickets sold online and pre-sale than any other show they've thrown there yet.
Oh, nice.
But that being said, they haven't even had their grand opening yet, so it's been plays and some, you know, local bands and different shows. I think the K Brothers played there, the Bernie Sisters played there, I-70 Overdrive. They're all these local mid-Missouri bands. But it's under construction, and this is kind of the test run before they do the big grand opening and the ribbon cutting ceremony here in town over the place. And we're gonna push it to its max. We're gonna turn the speakers up as loud as they can go. See how their sound system fares. We're gonna have the lights going. We're gonna see if that place can even stand the electricity of a show like that. So,
and it probably helps that you've got a reputable band in JCDC that people already know and is established.
It does, and there's a secret to that, and I'm going to share the secret on the radio here. It's the same band. Some people don't realize that, but yeah, we're the same band, and that's how it started at first. I would just come on and do a set with JCDC guys, and they, you know, threw a couple wigs on, and we did it, and it was cool because we could kind of do it right on the money. But once we started getting a little more serious about it, we went through some lineup changes from some guys, you know, because everybody was in multiple bands. So some of the guys were focused on their bands and wanted to do some more stuff with their bands. So we pulled a couple guys in that could focus on this 2-band thing a little more. And now we just bill it up as JCDC and Guns Ain't Roses, and that's all. All our shows are pretty much both of those bands together.
And with the connection going on right now between AC/DC and Guns N' Roses, it's kind of ironic that it works out that way.
It was. To tell you the truth, we started this kind of before they really decided to be all over the place. So I thought, you know, we put this Guns N' Roses band together, and because Guns N' Roses don't play, and now Guns N' Roses is playing everywhere, so you can get tickets to them now.
They went through a few years of a dry spell there between 14 and 16.
Yeah, But yeah, it's nice to have those guys at our backs there. I mean, Mike, the guitarist for those guys, is also a guitarist for a band called Notorious. Invincible Heart, which is a Heart tribute band. He's in countless things. Amazing dude. He's a retired Navy fighter pilot, Top Gun instructor, and he's just the coolest, most down-to-earth guy.
And Mike is Slash, by the way.
Yeah, Mike is Slash with the Z, Slash. And so it's Mike Vizcarra. And
he's really good. Like he's a great guitarist.
He's a great musician all around. He can play anything. A guy can play piano. He plays fiddle. He plays everything. And he's just, like I said, the most down to earth guy, most humble guy. And once you get to know him, it's like he's like an onion. You're just peeling away layers and finding out more and more spectacular stuff about him.
I've met him quite a few times, and I can concur. He's a really great guy to know.
And he's a great guy to have in a band, man, because he never fails. He's always on the money. He knows his guitar parts, and he was immersed in that stuff growing up. He's just been a rocker since before he was even in the Navy.
So you've got Mike, and so who is Izzy in the band?
Izzy is Kane Kirchner of Russellville, Missouri, and he's kind of a young phenom type kid. Even though he's our rhythm guitarist, cool thing about him is he just looks like Izzy. So it works out, and then he's got the clothes for it like nobody's business. I mean, when you set a picture of him and Izzy next to each other, the only difference is Izzy really is wasted in his picture.
Does he sound like Izzy when he sings?
He doesn't sing much. Now, he's in another band, Old Soul Savage, and I'm the singer of that band. He's the lead guitarist for that band. He does do a lot of singing in that band, but he doesn't really sing in this one. He just kind of plays. And the kid, he won Jeff City's Got Talent in 2013 at the age of, I think it was 13 years old. Him and his buddy Anthony Bertucci, and they'd played together for years and years in bars at the age of 13, 14. They'd always have to have like an X on their hand so they didn't get served. And I hooked up with those guys in 2017. We started playing, and about a month ago we lost our bassist, which really sucks, in a car accident. And we're still kind of pushing forward. We're still playing, and I'm proud of Kane because he's still doing the Guns N' Roses. He's still doing. He's playing tomorrow night at the Rose Music Hall with Old Crow Revival. So he's still playing. Phenomenal kid, and I'm so glad to have him on board in this too. And our drummer is retired Staff Sergeant from the Marine Corps, Manny Ortiz. He's from LA.
Everybody in your band military?
Yeah, man. We just got these. It turned out that that's what's cool about the band is that everybody has got something about them, and that's what the way Guns N' Roses was. Everybody was a rock star in that band. There wasn't like,
oh yeah, it
wasn't just the drummer. It's like you knew Steven Adler was the drummer, even if you weren't into all bands and stuff,
Oh yeah.
So they were all characters, and we kind of got blessed with a whole bunch of characters, And even the Brian Johnson, Jerry for JCDC, he's the former owner of The Bridge on Jeff City.
I didn't know that.
Before, they wound up closing the doors right before a tornado just smashed into that building and knocked it down. So it's good timing on his part, and he's awesome. He does lights and sound, and his day-to-day work is, he's got a grown-ass man job, you know what I'm saying? So everybody's kind of somewhat accomplished in the band, which is really cool, and it makes it easier to work with and makes for bigger shows for sure.
What about Duff?
Duff is a guy named Billy Muse. We met him from an ad that I put out, and so we had a hard time finding a Duff, okay? Because this ain't AC/DC bass, This was Guns N' Roses, and he's very
distinct.
Yeah, distinct, and he's playing complicated bass lines too from time to time. And he sings, so we're trying to find a Duff doppelganger. And it was so hard to find, and you run into these guys online that really just, they say they're good. Their little click on they check mark the excellent box on their musicianship, when you're looking through their ad or whatever, and it couldn't be further from the truth, And it got real hard for a minute. I put out this ad that looked like a wanted poster with burnt edges and bullet holes in it, you know, and it had a picture of Duff from 1987 and Duff from 1992. And it said one, a Duff doppelganger, you know, must be able to play Guns N' Roses note for note. I just put that out there just to see what would happen. And we got this guy who's 63 years old from St. Louis that wanted to come out and play with us, and he didn't even know Guns N' Roses songs. And through our first rehearsal, he was writing notes with his pencil. And when I'm saying notes, I'm not talking about notes from a classroom. I'm talking musical notes. He was writing musical notes out on his staff like he was writing a sentence. Huh. And I was like, who is this dude? The air in between his notes, you can hear. That's how close he plays it to the original stuff. And he still gets the names of songs wrong and stuff sometimes, you know. The Rocket Queens, man. The Rocket Queens song is cool, you know. It reminds you of like your uncle that's like, yeah, rock and roll is great. I love that new band. Nirvana, they're good, right? But he is so freaking good on the bass. It's just so it's cool. There's a lot of different characters in the band, and we got a lot of dynamic to it. So we hope to take it far. We hope to take it somewhere important.
Is there anything else you want to throw in before we wrap up?
Keep an eye out for GunsAin'tRoses.com and OldSoulSavage.com. We own them. We haven't built it yet. We're relatively unknown, but we work hard out here where we're at. You know, it's just a Midwest thing right now. But Kid Rock once said, you know, you got to take your town on before you can take your county on, before you can take your state on, before, you know, you can't just go 0 to hero in no time flat. These guys that are famous that we all hate on all the time are working hard.
Oh, yeah.
And they did something to get where they're at, you know. But, so we're just local, but for all the people out there that are listening that aren't from this area or nothing, keep an eye out for us. We got a couple of special things going on out here. And we got our sights set on getting a little further away from home.
Do you have a YouTube channel or anything?
Not yet. It's all just the Facebook shit. You know, if you look up Blackwater on Facebook, it'll be linked with Old Soul Savage. The Facebook police won't let us change the name of the band. So we've got an Old Soul Savage Live Facebook page. It's got a bunch of footage of us just fucking rocking out bars, and that's what we do.
And we'll have your links in the description of this podcast.
Cool. Heck yeah. So yeah, check out those links and look at I challenge everybody who's listening to look up every Guns N' Roses tribute band you can on YouTube and just watch some of their videos. And then watch some of our videos. And we're going to have some more videos coming. I think we take it seriously, and I would get in the ring with any of those knuckleheads and any of those other bands.
They are a very good band, and it is worth coming out to see. Links are in the description. We'll put the link to buy the tickets at the very top. And if you're listening right now and it's too late and the show's already happened, we'll have their Facebook page and we'll have all their shit's going to be right there. I mean, just look for it. It's right there in the description. Take 2 seconds and check it out. If you're on Spotify, it's not going to stop playing the podcast. So that's the good news.
Heck yeah. Hey, and also I'll leave my email in the description because this is going to be, I mean, we're a band for hire. And I know there's not a lot of Guns Ain't Roses bands out there. I know there's not a lot of Guns N' Roses tributes out there, and we do corporate stuff. We do, you know, weddings and stuff. Axel, I'm actually the Reverend of Rock, so I can marry you.
Oh, you're ordained.
Oh, I am ordained.
Oh, that's
I am
cool.
ordained as the Reverend of Rock.
What church are you ordained through?
I don't even know.
Is it Universal Life? That's the one.
Most likely, yeah.
That's the one I'm ordained through. So that's
you know, I think they said something in their decree. You know, you just have to be good to people. I was like, okay, I can get on board with that. So, but yeah, we are looking for work abroad too. You know, like not abroad, but in different regions. We've had Head East was playing a tour, and Mike was involved with what they were doing. And they had pulled a Guns N' Roses tribute from Ohio to Kansas City to do a show.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
I do believe it was Kansas City, but it was from Ohio, and they had to pull them from all the way up there out to the Midwest. And so we got one out in the Midwest now. We got a big one, and we bring all the big guns.
Can't believe I get to play music for a living, even if it is other people's.
The Guns and Radio Podcast.
Turn it up, people.
Welcome to another episode of Guns and Radio. This is, episode number 5, right?
Episode 5, man. We've made it through our first month.
Wow, it was a hell of a month so far, I'd say.
Sure was. It doesn't even seem like it's been a whole month.
Yeah, it feels like so much time has passed us. I feel like I've aged and become, blossomed into such a beautiful flower, in a sense.
I'm going to ask you what you blossomed into by the end of this show when we get to the final song.
Don't forget, I'll give you a good answer, hopefully.
We both know I will.
As always, I'm Chris Caputo, and joined by my partner in perfect crime, from parts unknown, Dustin Bonez.
What's up? Hey, that was a good one. I like that pun there. That's nice.
I thought about it a couple days ago, I have to use this. He will love that shit.
That is a good one.
And on this episode, we are joined by a good friend of ours, Dan from the What the Famicom podcast. What's going on, Dan?
Hey, thank you for letting me join you guys and talking about probably the best band on the planet, on this hemisphere.
Definitely on this planet.
Yeah.
I'm right.
Yeah, I think I told Chris not too long ago that as I've gotten older, all I talk about are two things in my life right now, video games and Guns N' Roses, and I don't think anyone I know wants to hear me talk about either one. So I was excited to get on a podcast about talking about Guns N' Roses.
I don't think you're the only one that has that problem. People at work are like, oh, he's going to see that fucking band again.
God damn it.
Avoid
yeah, I tell my girlfriend every piece of news that comes up, not to start early with it, but with the leaks and all the all the concerts that are coming up and the Not in This Lifetime tour, every time something happens, somebody's hair gets cut a certain way, I'm immediately oh my God, did you see? Or I'll tell my mom, and she's been hearing it for 20 years, she doesn't care, and I'll just go off and tell her.
My mom heard the O2 show when they played it on VH1, and she goes, she's much older, she goes, you drove all the way to San Antonio, Texas to see that guy, and he can't even sing that good. And I was like,
wow.
Oh, Mom.
Wow. At least you got to see him in O2. I was at the Philly show.
I was like, Mom, please. No, I mean, he was at the O2 Arena. This was 2000.
I think you meant 2002.
Yeah, 2011. No, it was that O2 Arena show that they filmed.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I was like, Mom, come on! Don't come in your house and talk about Jesus. Don't talk about it.
That's awesome.
So, Caputo.
Yep.
I was on the internet the other day, and I got to looking at this fabulous new invention that these kids are using these days called social media. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if you and I got on some of this social media?
Well, we are actually on some social media. If you're on Twitter, yes, we are indeed.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Well, do tell, my friend.
So, if you're on Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at Guns and Radio Pod. It's all one word. Dan, why don't you go ahead and plug your socials as well while we're at it?
My social, I have an Instagram and a Twitter. It's all WT Famicom. My name is a play on I have a gaming podcast. It's a gaming comedy podcast, Instagram, and it's a play on WTF what the fuck and the word Famicom, which is the original name of the Nintendo when it was released in Japan. So there you go.
Nice. And don't forget, you can join the conversation by clicking the very top link in our description section of each and every one of our glorious episodes to join our Discord page.
I like that you said glorious episodes. I like that.
I should throw.
There's only a few of them.
There's only a few.
There's only a few of them, but they're fucking awesome.
You guys are lucky enough to get on one. I thought you meant only a few of them are glorious. My
That's what I thought.
They all are, damn it. I'm on this thing.
The rest are so-so. Only a few are glorious.
Well, we've got a great show tonight, guys. You tuned into the right one because we thought we'd try it tonight and see what happened. And,
Can I let you guys know something right now? Where I'm recording, I'm on a table, and right next to my computer where I'm recording is the locked and loaded Guns N' Roses box.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I did not buy it for $1,000. I just want to let you know.
So you're
I
not
just
that
want
crazy.
everyone out there to know I did not spend $1,000 on this. I waited till it went down to $400.
Oh,
Smart.
nice. I was about to ask what it's gotten down to now.
Yeah, I think it's at a permanent 400. I mean, I love it. I love just touching it. I know that sounds really weird, but it's like, it's this giant box. I can put like my boxers in there. I can put my socks in there. It's crazy.
Dude, I get that because when I finally got my hands on a original copy of Live Like a Suicide, that's exactly how I was with it. I love to just hold it and look at it, and I played it once to make sure it was legit and I hadn't gotten ripped off. But
Can you imagine?
oh, I'd have been pissed. I would have been pissed. Because the first thing I did was open up the sleeve and make sure it was yellowed on the inside.
Oh,
instead
yeah.
of perfectly pristine white. Because it's a fucking old record. It's going to naturally yellow on the inside of the sleeve. That was the first thing I checked. And when I saw that, I got like little goosebumps and shit. And
That's amazing.
so I feel you, man. I feel you on the box set.
Yeah. I just
big
thought,
is that
fuck it.
damn thing?
It was there. I was looking at the website. I'm like, you know what? It's been a year and a half. I'm going to go for it.
How big is it?
It's like the size of like a footrest.
Really?
Like, does that
So
make
it's-
any sense?
So it's huge.
It's like 50 pounds.
Ooh,
I'm trying to think of like what to compare it to, but it's not huge, but it's huge. It's weird to describe. It's not huge, but it is huge. Does that make any sense?
About how tall is it? About like maybe a foot and a half, 2 foot?
Probably a foot and a half.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want it even more now.
Yeah, it's something, man. Like, if I ever like, I'm gonna have to rent out a whole van for this thing just so nothing touches it.
Just bubble wrap the shit out of it.
Yeah, seriously.
Just put it in its
I'll
own
use my
like glass
body to
case.
bubble wrap it.
He calls in the kids. Everybody, surround this. Don't touch it, though.
Oh, I don't have any kids. This is my kid. Like, you understand?
I
They're
didn't say
both.
they were your kids. That's why you can
Oh,
use
okay. Just call in kids and say, like, hey, check it out.
kidnapping children to use them as bubble wrap.
Yeah. No, officer. I didn't kidnap them for anything else. Just to look at my Guns N' Roses box.
What'd you call your penis?
Yeah.
Yeah, in this day and age, that'd be the first thing you'd think.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, I had one hell of a week this week, which it's old news by the time you guys are hearing it, but it's new to us at the time of this recording. I just got back from Louisville, Kentucky for the Louder Than Life Music Fest.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude, and I got my ass whooped at that show.
Do tell.
So, I brought somebody with me, and it's a lady that I work with, and she's one of my bosses at work. But it's one of those situations where it's like we hang out after work, even though nobody really knows we hang out. They sure did after this weekend.
Okay.
I mean, no, it ain't nothing like that. Like, no, we're just friends. She's much older than me. Which, I mean, old people have better music when it comes, as long as they like rock and roll.
Yeah, to be honest, it's really hard to find people that like this music. Like, you would think because it's so popular, tons of people are going to these shows, but it's, like, so hard to connect with people that actually love this band as much as, like, obviously all three of us.
Oh yeah, like, and that's the thing. When you start going to see GNR live, and you start going on a regular basis, like I used to, the first thing that you notice and find out is that you see the same fucking people at every show.
That's awesome.
And so that's, which is cool, because then when you get there at 7 in the morning, before they did the night train and the VIP and all that shit, when you used to have to get there at 7 in the morning to wait by the door. It was cool because then it's like, hey, you're the guy from Atlanta. Yeah, and didn't I see you in Kansas City too? Yeah, oh, cool. And then here we are in Texas, or So that was always really cool. But I went up there, and my friends who were at the festival were fans of the festival itself and most of the bands. I was there for Guns N' Roses, and they didn't want to leave the hotel when I did. And that's understandable. They do what they want. We're all grown-ass men. So Cease and I left around, I want to say 10 to go there. I think doors were at 11-ish. Anyway, we got there, and we were third from the front. Ooh. And I told her, because she had a bad rib, and I promised her I wouldn't tell how she hurt her rib on the show. But let's just say, I think her boyfriend's a bodybuilder.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's a little
maybe getting the wrong
obvious
impression.
What happened there.
Good God.
He was bench pressing her.
Hey, this is a family-oriented podcast. We don't talk about that stuff, right?
This is R-rated, man.
Oh, okay.
Family show. They don't get the joke yet because I haven't told it on air, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you told in the first episode the dice story.
I told the dice story in the first episode?
I think so. If anyone else knows, you can tweet us.
Okay, was it the first episode that aired? Or is it that one that's still in the can that nobody's heard yet?
I think it was the very first episode we did. I'm pretty sure.
I just did a little foreshadowing for something coming in the very distant future.
Very distant?
Yeah.
Ooh.
We'll do the GNR thing and drop leaks of it. But so we get there, back on track. We get there, and like I said, she's got a hurt rib. So when the show starts, it starts out pretty calmly. Amigo the Devil came on and played. Big fan. I enjoyed that show. He shotgunned a Yoo-Hoo.
Who is this?
Amigo the Devil.
I don't think I've ever heard of him.
I don't think a lot of people have. He's very indie. He was the very, very first thing, and it was just him and an acoustic guitar. Mostly joking around, but you could tell he was cutting up and having a good time.
Oh, that's good.
And you could tell he enjoyed what he did, and he did mostly covers. But then came the second band, and guys, I'm going to tell you something. If you guys, this band I'm about to tell you about, I'm going to drop a link to their music video in the description of this, just because I am swearing by this band. As a classic rock fan, we rarely, especially as a GNR fan, we rarely get new music. And I think this band is going to go far. They're called Dirty Honey. They're from Los Angeles. They've got that bluesy kind of Aerosmith sound. And today, I found, and maybe it just happened today, or 2 weeks ago by the time you guys hear this, their song, When I'm Gone, officially made them the first unsigned band to ever reach #1 on Billboard.
Wow.
That's fucking huge.
Wow.
That is huge. And
that is huge.
They, I encourage everybody listening to go check out Dirty Honey. They're coming to my local, the St. Louis area, in a couple of weeks. But here's the thing. I like Miles Kennedy, and I like Alter Bridge, and I like Skillet, but I don't really want to see them. I only want to see Dirty Honey. And
I got to look them up.
They're only going to play like 4 or 5 songs because they're the very opener of that concert. And I don't really want to pay $40 to go hear them play the 4 or 5 songs, and then all I'm going to do is walk around the arena and look at merch while Skillet and Alter Bridge plays, and hope to bump into Miles Kennedy. If he's even still with Alter Bridge, who knows?
You guys remember he was the dude that sang at the end of that movie Rockstar?
I have not seen that. I don't think. I think
That's the Mark Wahlberg movie?
Yeah, at the very end, when Mark Wahlberg's character gets like, he's just tired of doing it, he picks some kid out of the audience to like be in the band, and he just walks off. And the dude he picks out of the audience is Miles Kennedy.
Oh shit! No way! I didn't even remember this.
Yeah, I always remember that because then when he became big in like Alter Bridge and Slash, I'm like, oh my god, it's that guy. Mark pulled out.
Yeah,
I mean, is it just me, or is Miles the ultimate replacement for a singer? Because think about it. With Guns N' Roses, he even auditioned. He was gonna be the singer for Velvet Revolver at one point.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Before they broke up. Well, when Creed had enough of Scott Sapp's shit, and they kicked him to the curb, they hired Miles Kennedy as their new lead singer and formed Alter Bridge. And
I believe he's so much better in Alter Bridge than in Slash's band.
I think he's better in Slash's band when he's singing the songs that were written for him to sing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, Halo, staring up at the sun, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Back from Cali.
Yeah.
Back from Cali, I love that.
Starlight's a good one.
I mean, when it's a song that was written for Miles to sing, I think he does great. It's just his style and the way he approaches some of the Guns N' Roses songs doesn't really fit.
Yeah, when he did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? He performed then?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. He did like Sweet Child. He did something, but I was like, come on, man, just stop.
It kind of hurts to listen to because he sounds
it
like
does.
But I don't know. Maybe
he's got range. He's got range.
We'll know if it's hurting his throat or not in 30 years when you go see Slash and Miles Kennedy and hear, here it comes, time to dirty up the halo.
They're going to do their version of the Not in This Lifetime in 30 years.
I don't think I've done that on the show yet. Send your hate mail to at Chris Caputo 212.
Yeah, it's my personal Twitter.
I like you're sending them to him.
Anytime I piss you off, my personal Twitter account where you can send your hate mail at ccaputo212.
Oh, if anyone does, I will respond and murder them with my words. I don't care. Embodied.
If you're that stupid to believe that that's my Twitter. Oh. So anyway, to continue my story. The shit got real about the time that who was it? Anti-Flag went on. I think it's what they're called, Anti-Flag maybe. That's what their sign said. I'd never heard of them. That's when the moshing started, and of course, you know, we're standing our ground like you do and just kind of shuffling around. And then when oh my God, I just had one of my favorite bands, Dropkick Murphys. I just had a total senior moment.
Oh, wow.
When Dropkick Murphys, because I love Dropkick, it's one of my favorite bands. But it took me a minute. I was like, when
you like your battery drained.
I know, man. Let me go sip of this vodka real quick. We'll fix that right up. But when they went on, that's when shit got real, because that's when everybody started shoving and everything. And it was 110 degrees out there. We were standing in one spot with no water. You could beg a security guard to give you a squirt of water every now and then. And, man, we made it right up to the end, and then GNR was 45 minutes late. And during the wait, it was like I had one of two choices to make. And in my head, I was having this debate. I was like, how bad do I want water right now? Do I want it bad enough to give up the spot? And in my head, the answer was like slowly leaning toward, yeah, fuck this. I'm going to go get some water. I can get close enough to, you know what I mean, to make it worth it anyway. Mm-hmm. And then I looked over at Cease, and she's a lot older than me. And she looked like she was about to pass out, and she was like, I think I'm going to puke. And I was like, there's nowhere to puke. And she's like, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. And at that moment, I quit thinking about myself and started thinking for the other person, because at that point I knew she was toughing it out for me, and I felt guilty. So I was like, yeah, fuck this. Let's go get some water. So we went and got some water, which was all the way in the very, very back of the festival grounds.
Oh.
And then we came which we didn't even make it all the way to the back, because I stopped at a concession stand because I wanted water now. And so I stopped at the concession stand and said, fuck it, I'll pay $4 for some goddamn water. I paid $8 and got one for each of us, so I could have it now rather than in 2 minutes. Yeah. That's how bad dehydrated. And I honestly thought I was going to pass out a few times. I was just putting on a tough face in front of my buddies, because you don't want your bros to see you.
If you weren't with your friend, would you have stayed?
I have before. When I was in San Antonio, I stayed and I passed out.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
And I came to in San Antonio when I passed out. I woke up as these two medics were trying to pull me, were trying to lug my fat ass over the guardrail, and I locked onto that fucking guardrail like fucking Spider-Man. Like, I had my damn arms and legs right there. They were like, you have to come with us. And I was like, I'll never get this spot back. It don't matter. You have to come with us. I said, well, then good luck moving my fat ass. That's all I got to say to you.
I hope Axel is listening to this, that he knows you're so dedicated that you passed out for him.
Yeah. And so anyway, they brought the medics to me in San Antonio. They gave me these little... This guy came over looking at me, and he tried to reason with me, and I was like, I'm not going in the medic tent. And he's like, fine. And he handed me a bottle of water. He said, sip on this. Don't guzzle it. Sip on it real slow. Don't share it with anybody. I'll be right back. And you could tell he was pissed. And then he came back, and he opened up this little package, and it had these little colored discs in it that tasted like, they were like gummy, and they tasted like gummy bears, but they weren't anything but just circles. Like, they weren't any kind of, like, fun shapes or anything. And he was like, eat these, eat the whole pack. And so I ate all of them. And then he's like, now finish your water. And I finished the water, and he gave me and he said he wanted to watch me drink a whole bottle of water. And so I drank a whole bottle of water, and then he gave me another one and said, I want you to slowly sip on this throughout the show. And if you get thirsty again, let somebody know. And then he left, and that was the end of it. And then security came out and started handing out bottles of water to other people in the front, because they made you pour your bottle of water out when you first went into the festival there.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
dumb.
you know what I didn't do? Pay $8 for a bottle of water.
Nice.
So, yeah, I couldn't put her through that anymore, because she's my friend, and I would have felt like shit if she would have got sick or something. It wouldn't have even been fun anymore at that point.
Yeah.
So we went and got water. We came back, and of course the fucking show still hadn't started. We got about the middle of the crowd this time, so there wasn't as much shoving and stuff like that. At this point, it was just your usual calf aches and things like that, because you were standing on gravel. That's another thing.
Oh,
at a concert, you get that concrete floor to stand on. And that can get a little achy, but it ain't nothing like standing on fucking gravel. That was torturous. And inhaling all the dust from everybody, because everybody would get to jumping up and down, then it would get real dusty, like a cloud of dust would just swoop over you. And so we watched the show. Axel sounded. I texted Caputo because I'd promised him some really good pictures, and I'd sent Chris a few pictures from the front row while we were directly up front. And I was real excited, and then by the time I gave up, I was just over it at that point. And so I texted Caputo while we were going to get water. So when you got that text from me that said this whole thing has just ended in disaster.
Oh, yeah.
That was the moment when I gave up and we went to get water. But we would come back and still get really good spots. Like, it was still really, it wasn't like sitting in the nosebleeders where it feels like you're watching other people have a concert. It was still real easy to get into the music. I thought Axel sounded great, at least on the first few songs. I mean, he did get a little, I guess, tired as it went on.
They're playing 3-hour shows. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not going to be one of these people that's going to get on. Like, I make fun of it from time to time. Like, what I do this voice? You know, like, I make fun of it from time to time, but it's all in good fun.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like any kind of ill will or anything. I don't regret going. We got back to the hotel, and I just fell backwards on the bed, and I felt like a damn statue, and I slept like a baby that night. Then the next day, I had gotten, everybody has different words for it, maybe galded, or chafed, or what's it called? The Great Balls of Fire, monkey butt.
I never heard monkey butt before. That's new.
The red saddle.
Never heard that.
The fiery
Are you just
saddle.
making these up as you go along?
Some of them, yeah. I made up the fiery saddle just because you know when you sit on a saddle, you know.
Yeah.
So that was rough though, because I was at one point when we were leaving the show, I was walking away because we still had to walk like a mile away. Then my Uber driver pissed me off, and that's a whole other story. I ended up almost getting in a fight. But you see me walking around like with my legs as far away apart as they'll go, taking like giant like fee-fi-fo-fum steps with every step I would take.
Oh my God.
And then my boss is like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong? Why are you walking like that?" And I said, "Don't you worry about it." And she was like, "Oh, you must have the oh, fuck it." She made me laugh. See, after I laugh and break out of it, then I can't get back to it. She's like, anyway, she knew I was chafed at that point. And
So I have a question, actually, since you were at the show. How do you feel about the set list being the same?
I was getting around to that.
Okay.
I was actually getting around to that. To me, it's not that big a deal because it ain't like it was from 2011 to 2013, where I went to every show that I possibly could go to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to go to 5 or 6 of these a year.
Wow.
And since Slash and them came back, the prices more than tripled. And I was like, no. And the only reason I went to the one in St. Louis is because I won tickets on the radio.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that was show number 13. Unlucky number 13 in St. Louis. So I was
That is
like,
awesome.
you know, maybe this will be the one I finally get to be at a riot. I honestly, I hate to say I kind of hope that happens at each one. But I kind of hope that happens at each one. I mean, I'd be lying if I said anything else. Because a friend of mine asked me, because they're from St. Louis, about the riot things. Like, what are you going to do if you know you go to the show and there's a big riot? And I said, motherfucker, I'm going to be up there stealing with them. I'm going to. What the fuck do you think I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be trying to get me one of them Les Pauls off the side of the stage. That's what the fuck I'm going to be doing.
I'll take those Slash amps. Those are expensive.
I've been scarred with the riot. I was at the 2002 show in Philly. I was hype as shit to go see them. And I had the same love I have now as I did then, and everyone made fun of me. And it was December 6th, 2002, I believe. I had the tickets. Yeah. I went. He didn't show up. A riot happened. I think my sister saw me on the news. She told my dad she saw me in the news coming out of the stadium, and I was like, this is the worst thing ever. I had that scar. I had that burned in my brain until 4 years later when I saw them.
Did they not show? Was all their shit still there?
I think with the Philly show, it was infamous. So I don't know how much you guys know about that one, but the opening act was CKY and Mixmaster Mike, the DJ.
It was the O2 tour, yeah.
Yeah. So Mixmaster Mike kept playing. He just kept DJing. He kept playing with his records, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is this guy doing? This set's going on for an hour now." And everyone's just like, "What? Get off stage! What are you doing?" So the guy kept trying to kill time because Axl wasn't there. Nobody knows the truth. People say he was in LA watching a Lakers game. People say he was in the air. People say he was I don't even know. Honestly, he could be in outer space when that was happening. But people, like, they announced, like, an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours after they were supposed to go on, the intercom was like, Guns N' Roses are not going to be going on. And people just started throwing things. I saw a chair on fire. They, like, I remember hearing this. Because I worked at the stadium at that time, too. So I knew some of, like, the managers and security people. They actually put a lot of the women security, like women employees and women security guards, like away, like in a room, because they were afraid that like drunk guys would like try to like attack them.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was crazy. And everybody made fun of me because everyone's like, "We told you it wasn't going to show up," and I'm just like, I was like I forgot how old it was. I think I was like 17. I'm like, "Shut up, guys, leave me alone."
Man, it sucks being in high school and being a classic rock fan and not giving a fuck about what they're listening to.
Yeah, everybody listened to, I think, like, it was, like, Linkin Park or Limp Bizkit was probably still big then.
Oh, God.
I was the only person.
Fucking
You know?
So we're about the same age because I hated that was the cool thing when I was a kid in high school.
Okay, yeah, we're probably the same age.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was... I just remember some kid, just to go a little off, like, because I was like all hardcore about Guns N' Roses. Some kid was like, "Hey, do you listen to Linkin Park?" And it was the year they came out, and I was like, "Who the fuck is Linkin Park? Did you guys listen to Guns N' Roses?" Like, I was like, "No, I'm listening to these albums from Guns N' Roses. Like, did you hear the new song? Oh my god!" And these kids are like, "What?
What the fuck is that shit?
Yeah, basically, I'm getting made fun of. I'm like tagging Guns N' Roses in my school bag. I'm not even kidding.
I was lucky enough to be from the South, so everybody at least still liked AC/DC. Rednecks love AC/DC.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, you're lucky. You're really lucky that you still had like a genre that people liked in your area.
Yeah.
Like, I'm from Philly, so like I feel like more on the East Coast people are trying to get into what was hip. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what was hip back then was quite shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But, like,
Well, guess what? Linkin Park, I mean, no offense to the guy in Linkin Park, but like they kind of felt they were not as like huge as they were. And Limp Bizkit, nobody cares about. Who else? Like, what other bands from 2002, you know, can you even talk about anymore?
Yeah, this is true. I've said that classic rock is not going to be a thing in the future. We're not going to have. There's not any classic music anymore because so much shit comes and goes. I mean, you might like remember like what was that song that went like da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, but nobody remembers. Nobody will be able to tell you. In fucking 20 years, ain't nobody gonna know who the fuck Drake is. I mean, that's why I was telling you about that band Dirty Honey. That's why I got so excited after seeing their show because they put on a classic rock show with brand new songs, and it's got that blues, man. That's why I was happy. And then I was so happy when they went to number one without being signed or nothing. And because
I gotta look them up.
We don't get new music, man. Like, and when we do, it's shit.
I like Greta Van Fleet. I don't know if you guys do. How you feel?
They're all right.
I like them, but I kind of felt the same way. Like, you don't hear anything or any good rock at all. So, like, even if someone thought they were okay, like you do, Chris, like, still, you don't hear that anymore. So the fact that I heard that and then I heard it on the radio and then they got bigger, I'm like, thank God. Like, thank Christ that somebody's playing a guitar on the fucking radio.
Yeah. To me, though, they sound like a 2019 Led Zeppelin, which is good and a bad thing.
Yeah,
Is that the one that's the guy from Led Zeppelin's kid or something?
No. These are just it's like a bunch of brothers and like one of their friends. They're all like really young. They're like in their early 20s.
And the lead singer has like, he's really short. He has short curly hair, and he's got Robert Plant's voice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was even still alive till recently.
Oh, wow. How old is he? Yeah, he's like almost 80.
See, that's that Mandela effect, man, because I refuse to believe I'm wrong about something. I thought they died in a plane crash.
You thought Robert Plant died in a plane crash?
Yeah, all of Led Zeppelin.
You thought, isn't that Leonard Skinner?
No.
No, that was someone else. Fuck.
No, that was Led Zeppelin. Mandela effect, man. I done told you.
Okay.
I
Robert
wasn't
Plant,
wrong about
71.
anything. Okay, look, man, it is a much more plausible idea that the universe shifted me into a parallel dimension somehow, rather than me be wrong about something.
I like that. Okay, I agree.
That's why I believe in the Mandela effect.
Okay, I like that.
But back at the festival, we went to day 2, and this time we hung out with my friends, and we just kind of hung around the back and everything, and we would get about the middle of the crowd if it was a band we wanted to see. Like, I was curious to check out In This Moment because I'd heard some things about them, and really enjoyed it. Sum 41 did a good job, a hell of a job.
Oh, wow, they're still around?
Yeah, they played the Sunday show. And, oh, man, I was breaking out Sum 41. I'd forgot about them, to be honest with you. I was breaking out Sum 41 on my Spotify all week after that and just thinking about that festival. And who else was good? Marilyn Manson was good. And if you're a Manson fan and you want to give me shit because Axl Rose has put on a few pounds, you can kiss my ass. Because that motherfucker is chonky.
Really?
The days of counting his ribs to see if the rumor was true are fucking over.
Oh, shit. I haven't seen him in a little while. I did like his stuff. I think it's like an album or two, the last album or two that came out. He got a little bit heavier, like back to his roots of like his what early 90s shit was, and I kind of liked it.
What was the one that he put out in the mid-2000s where it was like a black cover with green writing? I don't remember.
For green writing.
I don't remember the name of the album, but it was a very plain. I was just excited for a new Marilyn Manson record, so I bought it, and it sucked. And I listened to it once and ended up throwing it away. Like literally throwing it away.
Was it the one that had "If I Were Your Vampire" on it?
Possibly.
Because I remember that one kind of sucked. I remember that being the only good song on it.
Possibly. I don't know what I came into it expecting, but I guess better.
Yeah. We always do.
Man, you know how your like the new Bon Jovi record that came out in like 2012, how it sucked. I hate when that happens, man. And
I can't listen to Bon Jovi anymore at all.
Oh God, no, it's fucking terrible. He makes music for like your mother now, basically.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh man, I still like the hits.
I had the album with, what was the album called? Where it was, It's My Life.
Was that Slippery then? No, that was...
No. Hang on, I'm gonna look this up.
Because whatever album that was the last time I legitimately was like, okay, he's still making like pop, metal, rock, whatever you want to call it. And then anything after that was like,
shit.
I don't even know what he was.
Yeah, it's from the album Crush.
Crush, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I think I had that.
He turned kind of country there, kind of had that country sound that for a little bit for a couple of songs. I wasn't crazy about that, but I have good memories tied to Bon Jovi because one of my old bosses at one of my old jobs, she was beautiful. She was like one of those cougar milfs. And when I quit that job, I ended up just shooting my shot because I'd see her at the office all the time, and I thought she was like the hottest woman on the planet. And so I ended up talking her into going out on a date with me, and we ended up dating for about 3 or 4 months. And she found out, what kind of music I was into, and she was into that music too, because of course she was. She was a cougar milf. And and she was like, I remember my first, because she didn't say CD. First she said CD ever. And I was like, your first CD? I was like, you mean your first tape?
Vinyl record, maybe?
Yeah, I
wasn't going to go that. I wasn't going to go that old. But she was like, yes, it was on tape. It could have been on vinyl, and she could have been lying. But and I said, what was it? And she goes, it was Slippery Then Wet. No. I said, what was it? And then she said it was Bon Jovi, and I was like, oh, so it became I said, so it was Your Love Is Like Bad Medicine. And I was just joking, like being funny, and it turns out that was it.
Oh, wow.
And so throughout the duration of that relationship, our song was Your Love Is Like Bad Medicine. We'd go out to a karaoke bar, and I'd sing it and fucking we'd go out to party or something, and I'd request it at the DJ booth. But
I like that story though. You think you were crushing, and then you stopped working there, and you actually dated her.
Yeah, I couldn't believe she said yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. That happened to me too. That's who I'm with right now. It's the same thing. I went to a coffee shop all the time, and baristas are nice to everybody. And I asked a barista out, and I've been dating her for like 4.5 years now.
Oh shit!
Nice.
That's a better score than mine, man.
That does not happen. That does not happen in real life. I'm telling you that.
Nobody ever gets the barista or the bartender.
Yeah, right? Like, how the fuck does that happen?
This guy does. Dan the man.
Dan the fucking man.
They're like, there he goes, Dan the man. You know, homie.
Yeah, I give everyone like a nod. I tip my cap. Hello, sir.
There he goes. Homie actually got the barista. I heard that the reason the bar shut down early was because...
Oh, wow.
Oh, but yeah, that's my story for the show. We had a great time, but it took days. I'm still recovering from it. The first thing I did, of course, I had to work the next day when I got home, so I went to work.
Oh, that sucks.
And I came home after work, and I sat down on the couch and was gonna. I had every intention of folding that basket of laundry that's still sitting there on the couch as I speak. And I was going to turn on some TV for a second so I'd have something to listen to, because all I watch is music videos anyway. So I just pull up YouTube. I keep a playlist to start with, and I pick a song in it, and I usually just let the YouTube gods, give me my MTV that way. And I don't even remember what song it was, but I don't think I made it through the first song before I kind of just sat back to relax and fell the fuck asleep. I got off at 3:30 in the afternoon, so this would have been about 3:45. I woke up at 7 at night. And you know how, like, if you take that midday nap, it's real hard to go to bed at a decent hour?
Oh, yeah, I do it all the time.
All the time.
Not for me, goddammit. I woke up at 7, went fuck that laundry, walked straight to my bed, and fell the fuck asleep again. I was pissed off when my alarm went off. But anyway, yeah, that's my story for the big festival.
Nice. You guys have any plans going to any other shows, like Guns N' Roses shows coming in your area at all?
No.
None are coming to my neck of the woods, so fortunately it's a no for me.
We were going to talk about the set list. I enjoyed the set list for what it was, just because I feel like had I not been following GNR as heavy as I do, I would have enjoyed it a little bit more, especially if I didn't know they were going to play Wichita Lineman and Black Hole Sun.
Mm-hmm.
That those would have been some neat surprises. Because I remember when I first saw them the first time ever, I wasn't deep into this community like I am now. And when they played Riff Raff and Whole Lotta Rosie, I thought that was
shit, yeah.
So I can see how somebody that's just I hate to say casual fan, because I don't like gatekeepers. A fan is a fan, but somebody who's not as immersed in this community as the three of us are, I can see how everybody bitches about Wichita Lineman and Black Hole Sun at this point, but to somebody that's not expecting to hear those songs, it's a neat little surprise. Now, granted, I don't think anybody ever asked for the Seeker.
You mean the Seeker?
God, no.
Chris, how do you feel about the set list?
Oh, gosh. It's, okay now, but I feel like a lot of those, Use Your Illusion songs that, came back out of nowhere, like Coma and, Double Talk and Jive, kind of lost its luster now. So, replace those. I would say replace those with, some other, random, Illusion songs that, pop, get, a little pop from the crowd. Maybe if it was hardcores, too. And also less covers. Black Hole Sun, it was cool because, it was around the time when Chris Cornell, died, passed away, whatever. But now it's like it's a little overkill, and especially with Wichita Lineman. Like, it's an okay cover. I wasn't like crazy about it. It's good. But like, do I need to hear it like in every set list? Probably not.
Yeah, I have a weird, like, I was on a Discord and somebody was complaining about the set list, and I'm like thinking, I agree and I disagree. And then I thought about it. I'm like, I don't think anyone's really thinking about the fact that, like, yeah, I am tired of some of these songs. I agree, because we're so immersed in this. We see the same set list all the time because we're literally visibly looking at these lists. But imagine, like, these dudes lost 23 years of playing together. And I feel like to them, playing the same, like playing, you know, even if it's Black Hole Sun, but playing like Coma or playing Double Talk and Jive, like, again, missing out on 23 years, then playing 3 years in a row that song, like, I'm thinking about, like, they probably enjoy the shit out of it just because they're playing together, because they're friends again. So I'm kind of like, you know, I don't think people are really taking that into consideration. It's probably just fun for them to play it because they're friends now.
Oh, you're definitely right. It's good that I feel like it's good that they've got that animosity, even without the. If Slash had never came back to the band, I feel like it's good that they don't have any bad blood, because that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what? Probably it was, and because I see it happen all the time, wrestling, business, in fucking real life and shit. It's that nobody's mad anymore. But they think the other guy still is.
Yeah.
So they
totally.
Neither one of them ever makes the call.
You're too scared to find out if you were right.
Yeah. And I think and pride.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if he is still mad, you don't want to be the one that apologized when you ain't mad no more.
Yeah. But do you think it'd be as... I don't think it would be, but how do you think this tour would be if it was... Duff was just the one that came back?
I think it'd be fine, because I like Bumblefoot.
Like, you don't think it would be as big, right?
No, no
as
way.
big, but you know what?
No.
I'd still be sitting in the front row because I could afford tickets.
Yeah, yeah, right. Once Slash came back, he upped that.
Because when Tommy left to go back to the replacements for those few months and Duff filled in for him, that's pretty much what happened. And
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
shoot up. Nobody really, I mean, honestly, gave a fuck. It was cool to have Duff back, but I mean, it didn't make. Nobody gave a fuck till Slash came back, and then all of a sudden, and you know what's funny is all these years I said, if the only thing they did was leave the band exactly as is and just bring back Slash, all of a sudden it'd be this big Guns N' Roses are reunited.
Reunion, yeah.
Exactly what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
You called it.
I called that shit years ago.
Now it's the number 3 tour of all time.
Holy fuck.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a great reaction to that, because that's insane. I would not be thinking that 5 years ago, that Guns N' Roses would have the number 3 tour of all time.
Jesus.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Who are they behind, though? Like,
weirdly, I think it's U2 and the pop singer Ed Sheeran.
really? I thought Madonna would be on there.
Yeah, I
Who
would
would?
too. Madonna.
Yeah, I think Madonna might be like, she's on the list, but I don't think it's the top 3.
Really?
Or Michael Jackson.
He might be like 4 or 5, to be honest.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, guys, do we have any ground? Oh, speaking of big things, that festival I went to, turns out, was the biggest rock festival in America.
Damn.
What? Really?
Didn't even know it. Like, I think it was because of the Guns N' Roses. The day of Guns N' Roses sold out, and was the first sold out festival I've ever been to.
I've never even heard of that. I've never heard of the Louder Than Life before they showed up.
Me neither. But it turns out my buddies from home go every year, and they said that this year with the Saturday show was the most people they'd ever seen there ever. Because, like, even in the back, like, you know, you got around the stage, of course, you can't move because you're elbow to asshole with everybody. But apparently it was the further back you got, it didn't get much better. And I remember when we went to get water and stuff, there was still tons of people all around us. So, like, I believe it. They showed, there's an aerial photo on my Facebook account of what the crowd looked like. I'll try to share that on our Discord channel. so you guys can see it. But yeah, it turned out after was all said and done, was America's biggest rock festival.
Wow, that's insane.
Headlined by the boys. Well,
Yeah.
you guys got anything else that we should cover before we get into the meat of this episode?
Nah, I'm ready for some meat.
Actually, just one more thing though. I remember, I know Dan, you're talking about being at the O2 Philly riot there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To sort of add on to that, I was kind of remembering. I believe the reason why that happened because I remember Guns played Madison Square Garden. I believe was the night before or 2 nights before. I think
it was actually the night before.
Yeah, the night before. And apparently the rumor that from what I remember was that Axl was still in New York. He was watching the Knicks game or something and didn't even show up to the fucking
That's right.
show.
He wasn't in He wasn't in the air. He was He was just a state away. He was the next state away.
Damn.
And he couldn't even fucking make it.
And then the promoter pulled the plug on the tour. Oh, fucking Clear Channel.
Yeah, that's fucking Yeah, I hear a lot of I think I heard something from another ex-band member, and they were like, "Yeah, it was Clear Channel." I think it was Josh Freese or Brain. I think it was a Brain interview I read, and he was like, "Yeah, it was Clear Channel." We don't actually know what happened, but Clear Channel was the one that said we're pulling the plug on this whole tour.
Well, after 2 riots, I think you would want to.
Oh yeah, the riot that started it.
Vancouver.
Holy shit! Yo, this dude is the king of riots.
You know what it makes me think of? Have you ever seen that movie Get 'Em to the Greek?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what it makes me think of. Getting Axl Rose to a show.
Can you imagine what it takes to get him to get on stage? Holy shit.
The stories behind that are fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I really don't buy the story that the promoter, whoever put a gun in his face. I heard that one recently.
I never heard that. What, Clear Channel? Someone put a gun in Axl's face?
I'm not. I don't want to.
And they were like, "Play My World or else."
No, it was probably during the User Illusion tour. I think that happened.
Okay.
God,
There's so many stories from there.
Lineman.
Play Wichita Lineman to the day you die.
It was Glenn Campbell himself with it.
You know what? I think we may have stumbled on something, guys, because you know how Axl used to walk around with that little bitty dog?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, you remember his little bitty dog he used to have?
No, I don't.
He probably still has it. I just haven't seen him. The first time I ever saw him getting on his tour bus, he was holding a little bitty dog. And then I saw him somewhere else holding a little bitty dog. And I was like, man, that's what happened, man. Some Wichita lineman fan was like, man, I want to hear Guns N' Roses play this song so fucking bad. And then it was like that movie Screwed where they kidnapped the dog.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, man. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and start. And if you guys want to watch along with us, I'll try not to pause and play too much because last week we had too much fun with Since I Don't Have You. And what we did that time was we just sort of watched a video of it. And so whenever possible, I'm sure we won't be able to do this in every episode. I'm going to try to get us a video to watch along. And I'm probably still going to pause it. So you guys try to watch it on your phones. Don't bring it up on your TVs or anything. But the video we're going to watch is from Wembley Stadium. We're gonna listen to Knockin' on Heaven's Door. We're going to break it down, but at the same time we're going to watch a video from the Freddie Mercury tribute show, which is also the version featured on Live Era.
Oh, the best live version ever, I think.
Oh, I didn't know. I actually didn't know that was the version on Live Era.
Yeah, and the only
I thought half of Live Era was re-recorded. That's the urban legend. I don't even know if that's
that was
true
the whole
or not.
rumor. Yeah, so it's like Live Era '99 with like Axl Rose and his new band or something.
Yeah, he did it the
definitely
day
parts
before.
of it were re-recorded because Slash talks about that in his book.
That's so cool.
Here and there, it sounds like it. If you really listen close, it kind of could be true. If you like really listen really close to certain songs, yeah.
Because Slash said Live Era was the easiest Guns N' Roses record he ever worked on because he didn't do anything but like he communicated with Axl through attorneys, and they would
Lawyers
tell
and
him
shit.
what he needed to do, and he'd record guitar parts, and they never actually were in the studio together. But they do, on the original CD, they didn't list where everything was from. Fans kind of speculated on that. But if you go to their YouTube channel and you look up Live Era, each one of them has a, in parentheses, where or when it was recorded.
Even on Spotify, too.
Yeah. I would take it with a grain of salt if it wasn't on the official Guns N' Roses shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're going to watch. If you need to, pause the podcast, look it up. It's from the Freddie Mercury tribute show, Knocking on Heaven's Door. If you want to watch along. And with that, if you guys are ready, let's get started.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
While we're getting started here with the intro, which is a beautiful intro, by the way, but it's not really part of the song, I'm going to read you a few notes here that I've gotten. Knocking on Heaven's Door, for those of you who do not know, was originally written by Bob Dylan for the soundtrack for the 1973 film Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, which is something
I did not know that.
I didn't know it either. It turns out this is one of those storytelling songs about Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
Huh.
I honestly, for years, I've always thought this song was about a cop that killed somebody and was feeling guilty.
Oh wow! I didn't even think I didn't never thought too much into it.
Yeah. How do you think of it? Yeah, it could be.
Well, what I thought it was a cop that was getting ready to commit suicide over the guilt of killing someone. I don't know. That's what I put out of it.
It's an interesting viewpoint.
Yeah.
So I learned something new in doing the research I did for this show. It's also been covered by Eric Clapton, Randy Crawford, and many, many, many other artists. I also heard rumor there might be an acoustic version from Guns N' Roses floating around somewhere out there.
Oh, it has been for a while.
Featuring alternative band members.
Yes.
I like the way you said that. Alternative.
There's a whole CD with takes of it.
Or so we've heard.
Yeah. It was a very mellower version.
Matt Sorum was a beast, man.
He was.
Oh, I loved Matt Sorum.
You know his first show was Rock in Rio '91.
Oh,
No.
it was Dizzy Reed's first show too, I think.
Was it really? That's your debut show. What? How many million people are watching you?
That is amazing.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
like
no wonder.
I would have
like-
shit myself behind the drum kit. Like that's crazy.
Dude, Dizzy is a fucking animal on that piano.
God bless his dedication to Axl.
God, yeah, he's
Why
been there.
would he?
Yeah,
He's like, I'm Dizzy. I'm not Slash. I can't. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, you're a huge GNR fan, and you didn't know till last week, I don't think, or 2 weeks ago, that there was a Dizzy Reed solo album.
yeah, because I knew he had like a side project. I didn't know about his solo album, and I have to check that out still.
It is great.
I know about Hookers and Blow. Is that
Yeah.
still a band?
It's still around.
You don't even know that Dizzy Reed has a solo album.
No,
It's
no.
been out for over a year, and nobody knows.
Sorry, and I met Dizzy too.
I know. Did he smell like pot? Pause.
I don't think he did, unfortunately.
I've met Dizzy Reed 4 times, and I hate to throw him on, but I'm a weed smoker myself. There, I'll just say it. But I've met him 4 times, and I have never met him, and he did not smell like straight up marijuana.
Wow. The cops are going to come. They're going to kick down his door now.
Nobody gives a nothing. He's from LA. Isn't it legal or something in California?
I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's legal. I'm pretty sure in all of
It's one
California.
of those real states.
Yeah.
This is during the era of Axl. Is he wearing the kilt or has he got the shirt tied around? He had the pretty backup singers.
You know, Tracy
feel
and
like-
Roberta.
I feel like this was the era. Like, I feel like Knockin' on Heaven's Door. This came out. Knockin' on Heaven's Door came out before November Rain, correct?
Yeah, this came out in 1990.
Yeah, Yeah, it was.
Part of the Days of Thunder soundtrack.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see.
So
I've got the date
Tom Cruise.
here somewhere. Yeah, 1990, June 26, 1990. So about 2 years before Illusion.
I feel like Knockin' on Heaven's Door was the first look at the new Guns N' Roses with like the backup singers and the trumpets, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it was the first more lavish Guns N' Roses, like as opposed to like the sleazy Guns N' Roses from 87 to 89. I feel like once they got in the studio to make Use Your Illusion, like he wanted to add everything, and I feel like Knockin' on Heaven's Door was like their first foray into like, we're gonna bring in, you know, everything in the kitchen sink. We're gonna have backup singers. We're gonna have like, you know, shit like that.
I don't disagree, but see, that's when I came in too. Though I didn't see, of course, I don't remember, but the first, my first real exposure to GNR was I used to have a tape in, I don't remember what grade. I was still just a kid though, and I was raised in a very religious household, and I'd managed to get my hands somehow. I think a friend gave it to me on one of the Illusion tapes, the VHS tape.
Oh wow.
And I did some looking into it because I got curious as to what the fuck was that tape. And it turns out it was there was two of them. I didn't have both of them. I just had one of them. I had the first one, the one that ended with November Rain.
Okay.
And that was the first I ever saw GNR.
So that was your first exposure. Oh yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just think it was like the next era of Guns N' Roses. Like, everyone's so used to like the sleazy songs, and then this comes out, Knockin' on Heaven's Door, it's big bombastic, you know, anthem of a cover that was like a slow, solemn, you know, like Knockin' on Heaven's Door is like a slower, like more peaceful song.
Well, what are you going to do? Just repeat the same shit over?
That's true, and I love that they just took it and made it. They took it like it was a little knife, and they turned it into a shotgun of a song.
That's the beautiful thing about this band is no two albums sound alike.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that. People just associate it with like a Paradise City, like just a rock and roll band, but they're like, they do progress.
I wonder what those ladies look like now.
One of them, I believe, passed away, I think.
Oh, man, why you got to tell me that?
Yeah, wow, bummer.
I'm just trying to remember. I think one of them was on Appetite for Distortion.
You're right.
A little
I
while
didn't
ago.
listen to that episode, but I do remember seeing a description. It was one of the backup singers. You're right.
I think it was, Tracy, I think it was. Or was it
What about
Roberta?
Teddy, what about Teddy Zigzag? What's he up to?
Oh, he's still around. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's been
because I
out,
remember
but
when
he's
I
still
was
alive.
little, he was Pirate Guy.
He was Pirate Guy.
Yeah, because in the Illusion video, he's dressed like a pirate.
Oh, I had those VHSs. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I had them.
You know who's the last name I learned from this band? Because we didn't have the internet yet. Axl.
Was the last name you learned?
Yeah, because Axl tells everybody's name in the first tape except his own.
Oh, wow.
That's true, yeah, and he does introductions.
Yeah, that's how I learned how everybody's name was.
That's great.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, old Brando quit answering my messages because when he had Cherry Pie Girl on there, I was like, "Come on, man, you gotta hook me up."
Yeah, he's doing good with those interviews. He's getting some good stuff.
Oh yeah, man, I like what he's doing. It's a good show.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed Axl's shirt has Jesus on it and says "Kill your idols." I feel like I've seen that somewhere else before.
Yeah, he's definitely worn that before.
Yeah, I feel like the only place I've ever seen that is off of him.
Powerful message.
Yeah.
I wish more people idolized Justin Bieber.
Fuck
Is
that.
this-
Bring the Charles Manson shirts back.
Oh shit. Yeah. I forgot about
Look
those.
at your game, girl.
You thought it was controversial back in the fucking, 90s?
Mm-hmm.
I want backup singers, man. Just follow me around and while I'm humming around at work.
This is their first song where they had like audience participation, right?
I think this is the only audience participation.
Or the audience, yeah, the only one, which I kind of like because it like builds up, and then he does the classic. I don't want to spoil it, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Give me some blank.
Ooh, give me some
Right
reggae.
There you go.
Perfect.
I missed
timing.
that. I love
There
that.
it is.
Give me some reggae. I want that on my tombstone.
It's not even reggae, but fuck it.
Yeah, right.
And in Vegas, when they had the strippers, did you guys ever see any of those videos? Well, it was on the Appetite for Democracy DVD.
Yes, I was
yeah.
in one of the Vegas shows.
Which one?
I wasn't on the DVD. I went to the 28th of November in 2012, 27th or 28th.
Was it the last? I think I was there, dude.
No, it was like the second to last show.
I was at the second to last show, and I was at the last show.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh my god, we were at the same show then.
Oh, that's dope, man.
They went on so late, I couldn't stay awake because I had to leave the next day on a plane, and it was like getting to like 3 a.m.
We went to the after part, or not? It was like an after meeting with Bumblefoot. We got to hang out with the band.
Oh, I did that before. That's how I met DJ Ashka and Bumblefoot.
Yeah, DJ was really cool to me.
Yeah.
I stunned the fuck out of DJ. I'll tell
Like
you that
Stone
story
Cold
here
stunned
in
him?
a minute. Let's see. This is the first GNR song to reach number 1. And let's see. And they actually started playing it in
87?
87. Long before they ever recorded it to stretch out their set list beyond the songs that they had.
That's smart move. Smart move.
Because I remember, like, they played this live, even on the Locked and Loaded box. I know there's a couple live tracks from like a London show, like in late 80s, and Knocked on
Yeah,
Heaven's
there's
Door
one
was
on
of them.
here. I think it's buried under the tattoos in the.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I made it easy for you. I only paused once. So thank you for watching along with us. Sorry, Firehouse subs. I'm not going to watch your shitty commercial. But yeah, there's plenty of different versions of it out there that are great for checking out. And if you have checked all of those out and you still want another one, I hear that if you do your treasure hunting, do your research, talk to the right people, there might be one more out there, and it's pretty good.
There's a whole disc of them. So there's definitely a couple more.
I've only heard the one, to be honest.
Just the acoustic one.
I've heard that one. That's the one I heard.
Yes.
There's also an electric one, like similar to what they would play live in '02, but without Axl's vocal.
Ah.
That was really cool, because that's like, you get the Buckethead's like sort of solo on that one, and it's like fucking amazing.
I guess the only the one I recently heard, I was like, okay, it's whatever. Only because it's a song that we've heard trillions of times, like any variations of. So for me, I didn't think it was anything too special.
Was it a part of the re-recording of Appetite, those sessions?
It might have been.
No, these are all one.
Okay, I think you're right, but it's still nothing like it didn't do anything for me. It was just cool to like hear like something from that era. But I was like, okay, like it's Knockin' on Heaven's Door. It's a Guns N' Roses song. It's more Guns N' Roses than Bob Dylan anymore.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to be a diehard Bob Dylan fan to which, I mean, Bob Dylan, great artist, has great songs, is a great songwriter. But I feel like you're right. This is definitely one of those few songs in life that the cover gets more popular than the original.
Oh yeah.
Oh, totally, and especially in this case.
I think the other one is probably Live and Let Die.
That
Oh yeah,
too,
a whole different beast than the original song.
Yeah. Because, I mean, let's face it, Wings sucked.
Oh.
there, I'll just say Wings. Okay, first off, I think the Beatles are overrated, and I think the Beatles suck.
Whoa.
And so you take the shittiest part of the Beatles, and you try to put together a fucking half-ass band with a bunch of guys nobody even gives a fuck about, and then they form their own band of playing crappy songs. They're lucky that GNR covered this one, or they wouldn't get any fucking royalties.
Do you think they got more royalties from Guns N' Roses covering it than their own?
Oh, hell no, dude. I'm just saying that to piss off the fans.
There's some hot takes here. Holy
Like,
shit.
dude,
Yeah, seriously.
Like, dude, I really do hate the Beatles. Like, I won't listen to them. Like, I don't hate them like it's like I ag on the show. That's just me being a dick. But I really don't enjoy their music. That's a legit thing.
All right. Hot take.
Fair opinion. I'll take it.
It is. It's just my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
at the same time, if you know, by now somebody's already typed up that hateful comment.
I'm going to get him on Twitter.
It would sure be a shame if you didn't go ahead and hit send to that Caputo 212.
Listen, if you want to get roasted, you can tweet me.
Send all your hate mail to
day
there.
You know what, Dan? Since you're the guest, you want to go ahead and push the button?
Yeah, sure.
Oh boy!
1. Street of Dreams.
Ooh.
All right, so we're going back to Chidem next week.
Damn, we just left it a couple weeks ago, and now we're going back.
Going right the hell back, dude. At this rate, we'll be finished with Chidem before we finish.
Yeah, seriously. You already have 3 songs. 4?
Well, this will be the third.
Yeah, this will be the third from Chinese Democracy. And you know, none of the surprise ones that we've got peppered in there have popped up yet.
Oh.
We have wild cards. We have oddities.
Yeah, leaks.
Leaks. Yeah.
Whoa! You're doing leaks.
We're not gonna play them on the show.
I know you're not gonna play them, but I'm excited for you to. Oh man!
So you can listen along while we listen to the leaks. So get your own copy.
When we stop recording, I'll tell you about some of the other surprise ones that we've got dropped in there, because we've got a few in there that are you wouldn't expect.
So speaking of Chidem, do you guys? I mean, it sort of relates because he did it after it came out. Do you guys remember the chats he did in the message boards?
Oh yeah, we've
when you started
times.
listening song titles and shit off.
Yeah, I actually got a question answered by him, and it was probably one of the best days of my entire life.
Oh shit! What question was?
Oh fucking way!
I asked him. I think I was bouncing between my GNR and ChineseDemocracy.com, which I don't think it exists anymore. But I asked him. I was like, "Hey, there was a rumor going around that you recorded a song with Shaquille O'Neal. If it's true, DM me immediately and give it to me. Ha ha." Like, I wrote something like that, and he responded. He's like, "Yeah, it was just a joke. Like, people knew he wasn't the most popular rapper. I think he like messed around with Dizzy Reed, but that's about it." And I was like, "Holy shit!" It was like, for me, it was like 2 a.m. And when I saw he responded to me, and he like recopied the text and then responded to me, I'm like, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, it was like insane for me.
That's pretty cool, man.
And when you go back to the transcripts, like, I think you can go on Here Today, Gone to Hell, or like whatever other sites that have the transcripts of it. My name's on there with that question, and like knowing that it's there, that it's part of his. He probably doesn't remember.
Part of our history.
Part of our like that's great. Like,
damn right.
I tell everybody knows me. Everyone knows that happened, and like for me to fully like express how like insane that was for me, like they can't comprehend that. I'm like,
that is awesome.
It's not just him, like seeing me. Like, yeah, like I was like, holy shit, man. Like, and he did that because he wanted to talk to the fans, because Best Buy didn't do dick to promote Chinese Democracy. So he kind of like, I don't know if it was Fernando or Beta or somebody made him go on the message boards, because I remember something instigated it, but I just felt like he was just like, you know what, I'm just going to talk to people, see what happens.
It was more the label that didn't promote shit, really. Best Buy to an extent, yeah.
Oh, you're right.
It was more the
right.
label.
I'm sorry.
Like,
yeah,
then
Best
he
Buy
sued
like
Irving Azoff, who was manager at the time, who tried to basically sabotage the whole fucking album release just so he can reunite with Slash And then also, since Azoff was managing Van Halen at the time, they're trying to do a GNR Van Halen super tour. Rumor has it.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah, which is like insane. And then like
Can you
Axl took
imagine
him to
that?
court, sued him.
I would have went to that.
Oh, fucking phenomenal!
I would have sold my kidneys for that.
I mean, David Lee Roth would do the same probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's my Chai Dem. After Chai Dem came out, that's what happened to me. I was so psyched.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I still have the commercial from television on my hard drive in a collection of.
Holy shit! The one that just said
30
the date and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that's amazing! I remember that commercial. I remember one played during Saturday Night Live one time, and I saw it. I was like, "What is going on? People know about this?" When apparently it's supposed to be the big album, and I'm like confused as to why people would know about it.
Yeah, it took me a long time to give that record up because I went through a dry spell there after I kind of, you grow up and the shit you liked as a kid isn't cool anymore.
Yeah.
And I went through a little while where, I still listen to the basics, but I didn't really check out too much in that day and age. And I remember a buddy of mine was swearing by Chinese democracy because I didn't get on the internet that much back then. Like maybe, MySpace, the occasional porn site. But it wasn't near as prominent. It was there, but it wasn't, like every page took like 30 minutes to load. And there wasn't really nothing I wanted off of there too much. And so
Are you still talking about porn, or are we talking about the internet?
No, the internet in general, man.
Okay.
Back in the dial-up days.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
And then, of course, to illegally download a song or two. But back then,
Oh my god, yeah.
You would have to. What you would do is you'd start the song downloading before you went to school. You'd put about 3 on and get them started. And then hopefully when you came back from school, no telemarketer had called during the day.
Oh, shit.
And you'd come home from school and they'd be just about finished. That's from that's the era that I lived in. But yeah, fuck, I forgot what I was talking about.
Oh, it was about Chidem or something like the.
Oh yeah,
TV
so
ad.
when I had a buddy of mine that was like, dude, you need to listen to Chinese Democracy, and it was like great and all this other stuff. And I gave him shit. I gave him shit for a little while before I ever actually did listen. I would ultimately listen to it out of nothing but plain curiosity because I knew about what was going on and everything. But I'd heard somebody talking, because like by this point I was starting to pay attention again. I was because I was fucking with my buddy, and somebody had said that Axl Rose uses a teleprompter, and I was like, oh, so it's like you're going to see a free karaoke show. That's pretty cool. And then I remember making the joke about how, dude, Axl Rose is the greatest cover singer or greatest karaoke singer ever, man. Because he's got his own live band. They got Pyro singing all those Guns N' Roses covers. That's really really cool. Just fucking my friend, piss him off.
Yeah.
Here I sit doing this podcast, and the irony of that. 15 years later, or whatever. But
isn't that crazy? It's been 11 years since Chinese Democracy.
Yeah, this is when
and nothing new since.
Nothing since. Well, apparently nothing.
Yeah. Do you guys
Besides
think,
the What If trilogy.
Yes.
Dan, do you think we're going to actually get that album in 6 months?
Listen, if you told me like 3 or 4 years ago, you think Slash and Axl will ever like talk again, I would have said 1,000% no, because I got okay, like not okay, but like my Guns N' Roses was new GNR, because I got into them at 98. I knew they weren't going to reunite. So the fact that they're reunited playing shows, that's good enough for me. I'm going to say no. And my thing is, I'm scared because I actually, as a hardcore fan, I kind of don't want them to make new music.
What did you think when Velvet Revolver came out?
I like them because I like Scott Weiland, and the rock on the radio at the time, like obviously, I was into Guns N' Roses, so for most of Guns N' Roses to become super huge again was a big deal for me, and I liked the music. I thought the combination was good, and I loved that they sold millions of records. I love that everybody loved them.
Yeah.
Their first album was amazing. I thought their second album sucked.
Yeah, I think everybody.
Yeah, I'd agree
agrees
with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
after
I-
Slither and Fall to Pieces, I don't really think I could name another Velvet Revolver song.
Yeah, I go back to their first album every now and then. It's got some good groove and stuff in there.
Have you ever listened to Snake Pit?
I have, and I can see why Axl didn't want some of that first Snake Pit stuff on the next Guns N' Roses album. It all sounds the same. It all sounds just like super bluesy rock.
Yeah.
And that's not a terrible thing, but when you're trying to like progress as a band, I'm sure Slash just came to Axl and was like, "Hey, check out this song," and Axl was like, "Yo, this sounds like a song that you just showed me yesterday," or something. The first Snake Pit album, I didn't like the lead singer. He sounds too generic. The second Snake Pit album,
Where's
I
that?
forget the lead singer's name. Is it London something?
I don't know. Is that what you're talking about Ain't Life Grand?
Yes.
Ain't
That
Life
dude's
Grand
voice.
is a killer fucking album.
Yo, if anyone's listening to this and has not given Snake Pit a chance, just go to the second album. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I agree completely.
The songs are better. The singer is better. He's a monster.
I've never listened to 5 O'Clock Somewhere all the way through, but Ain't Life Grand is one of the records that stays on my playlist. Like I listen to Been There Lately at least once a week.
That's that's good. Serial Killer, isn't that one of them?
Yeah. And the
Mean
song,
Bone?
Mean Bone's good. The title track, Ain't Life
Title
Grand,
track,
is
Landslide.
fucking amazing.
Yo, yeah, I swear by that second album. That is amazing. I don't know what that lead singer's doing now, but he was a talent, and I don't know how they got rid of him.
Well, guys, I'm getting the signal that our recording time is starting to run thin, so we're going to have to put a stop on it pretty soon. But we've got a few extra minutes to spare before we go. Dan, why don't you tell everybody in your own words where they can find your podcast, What the Favicon, and why they should go and download it.
It's a good. Wow, you put me on the spot there. I guess you get. Well,
Here,
first off, you
I'm
can
gonna help you. I'm
find
gonna help you. I'm just
the.
going to whisper in your ear, and nobody's going to hear you but me, okay? Because it's fucking awesome.
There you go.
Damn right.
The What the Famicom podcast. It's a gaming podcast where I kind of just talk about the weird and wonderful things that nobody really cares to talk about, or if it's something that's popular, I kind of just make it ridiculous. You can find it on Spotify, Google Podcasts. I just put in a submission to get it on Pandora. I don't know if it'll go through, but Stitcher, Breaker, Anchor. So anything that's not iTunes or Apple Podcasts, because that's really hard to get on. So you can just search my podcast, With the Famicom, a gaming podcast. My social media, I have a Twitter. Again, I have a Twitter and Instagram. It's just WT Famicom. If you like funny gaming stuff, if you like funny gaming stories, that's all I do. I kind of just make fun of the games we all love.
Man, this has been a great show. I've enjoyed myself, but man, we gotta go. Like we're pushing our time limit here hard.
Ooh, all right.
Join us next week for Street of Dreams.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I'm looking forward
I
to
look
that.
forward to it.
You guys ready to go home? Before we go home, Dan, thank you for doing the show. It's been a pleasure having you. I hope to have you back again sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
damn.
thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, and hey, I almost forgot. Before we go, we got Carl Golden featuring Axl Ross from Guns Ain't Roses. They're going to play us out with a rendition of Rocket Queen. Thanks for listening, everybody. Good night.
Peace.
All right, see ya.
See you next week.
If I say I don't need anyone, since it's you, love, I can turn on anyone, just like I turn on you. I gotta turn on the razor, switch late night. I can do you favors, but then you will do whatever I like. Here I am, you're rockin' queen. be a little young, but honey, I ain't naive. Here I am, your rocket queen, oh yeah. Might be too much, but honey, you're a bit obscene. I've seen everything imaginable pass before these eyes, darling. Everything is tangible. Honey, you'd be surprised. I'm a sexual innuendo in this burned out paradise. Turn me on to anything, you better turn me on tonight. Here I am, and you're a rocket queen. I might be a little